Hello, and welcome to another episode of Character Forge. My name is Tyler Owens, I'll be your character smith, and joining me again is my wife Leigh as our character artist. Today we're going to be building a Gith male. Now, if you're not familiar with the Gith, they're a race of interdimensional beings who were once enslaved by the Mind Flayers. The Illithids used the Gith mainly as soldiers in their wars and plunderings for ages untold, before a revolutionary leader for whom they are named led them in a war which allowed them to break free of their masters. Shortly thereafter, however, there was a split between the people. One group followed the Lich Queen Vlaakith, who declared that having defeated the Illithids, they had become heirs to the Illithid Empire, and thus were free to pillage and enslave as they chose across the entire multiverse.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, great lady, Vlaakith. This group is known as the Gith, which is what we're building. The second group, led by a Gith named Zarithamon, sought a more reclusive, reflective lifestyle, devoting themselves largely to monastic learning and discipline. They get their name from Zarithamon. They're called the Gith Zerai. The two groups hate each other almost as much as they hate the Mind Flayers. They are constantly at war with, the Gith trying to expand their empire across the multiverse, and the Gith Zerai trying to, stop them from doing that.
Hey, dudes, this was bad the first time. Knock it off, bro.
Pretty much. Their official stance on Gith was that oh yeah, by the way, Gith was a lady, lady revolutionary. So Zarithamon and his followers, their official stance on Gith was yeah, it's great that she helped get us away from the Illithids, but she was actually also evil, so that's why we gotta have our separate peoples. But yeah, they hate each other. The only people they really hate more are the Illithids, and they will kill those guys at every possible opportunity.
Illithids are the worst, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's to the point where they'll sometimes do, frankly stupid things that really are against their own self-interest for the purpose of spiteful vengeance against the Mind Flayers.
Worth it.
Since we're going to be building a Gith specifically, we should probably talk a little bit more about their culture. So you have this Lich Queen Vlaakith, who created a city for herself and her people in the astral plane, so that they were outside of time. They wouldn't ever age. They didn't have to worry about food or drink or anything like that. And also it's a lot harder to assault a city in the astral plane than on the material plane. And basically from this city called Tunaroth, they send out raiding parties to wreck crap.
If you don't need anything, why are you stealing things?
Well, part of it is because, Vlaakith is one of those dictators, and by one of those I mean pretty much all dictators, who is very tenuous grasp on power in terms of she's super concerned that if her people aren't always doing something that they're gonna
catch on to she's horrible.
Yeah.
Oh man. Sorry, one of the arms is slightly longer than the other. Only 23. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, especially since inside of Tunaroth, the Gith because they don't have to worry about food or drink or aging or anything like that, they're pretty much just hedonism bot. Honestly, they just do whatever catches their fancy. Yeah, they just do whatever catches their fancy. When raiding parties bring back new stuff, they study it for a while and try and recreate it art.
Dingle hoppers?
Yeah, there's essentially that, and they'll start a mural and then halfway through say, this is hard, I don't care anymore, and then move on to something else.
These guys are jerks.
Yeah, I mean they really are.
I wonder if other guys hate them.
Yeah, essentially in all their life of decadence, the only thing that they don't let slip at all is their martial discipline. They are warriors through and through from the day they are born. And the most loyal servants of Vlaakith are the Githyanki Knights. Githyanki Knights are masters of both sword and spell, seamlessly weaving the two together to cut down any who oppose their Lich Queen's will. Each knight carries an enchanted silver sword, and this is actually pretty cool. Back in the far-flung reaches of the past on the mortal plane, the Githyanki made a pact with Tiamat, which part of those accords is that the Githyanki have a certain amount of young red dragons that are always in their service. And the most common use for these red dragons is for them to be mounts for the Githyanki Knights. And with this, I think we have enough kind of backstory on the Githyanki to get into our character specifically. His name is Zamadas. Zamadas was recently inducted into the Githyanki Knight Order. He received his silver greatsword and his new red dragon companion, a young red dragon named Imordan. The two bonded very quickly, quicker than pretty much any knight and their mount had bonded before in the history of Tunaroth. But partially because of this, but also just because of his large devotion, Zamadas quickly became one of Vlaakith's most trusted knights. Things were going better than he ever could have hoped. But one day that all changed. It was widely known that anyone who's foolish enough to question Vlaakith's reign was expelled from their idyllic city in the astral plane.
So it has nothing to do with the Fire Nation attacking?
No.
Oh. Excuse me while I erase everything.
But one day Zamadas was charged with carrying out the deed of expelling someone from the city. He was shocked to find out that Vlaakith did not banish the dissidents as he had thought. She instead turned them into Alips, which are tortured undead shades.
So, worse than the Giver, huh?
Probably. I don't actually remember much of the Giver.
They say that they expel people from their society, and by expel they mean expel them from all societies because they die. Ah.
Yeah.
Man, I was just expecting her to just kill them. This is so much worse. These people suck.
He managed to hide his horror from his mistress, but the seeds of doubt had been planted. Through further skullduggery, he learned that Vlaakith's promise to send the most faithful warriors to join Gish in paradise was a similar lie. Vlaakith didn't send people to paradise when they got too powerful. Vlaakith consumed the souls of those most faithful and powerful to her to become even stronger. That's part of how she maintains her hold on Tunaroth. So Zamadas fled from Tunaroth that very same hour that he learned this, hopping onto Imordan and flying to the material plane. He's been running from Vlaakith's agents ever since. He should perhaps be more worried about Imordan's continued companionship, but he has a soft spot for the dragon, which blinds his caution.
Not my pet.
Alright, now that we have the backstory down, let's get to the mechanics. We'll start by rolling up stats. Let's see here. That's a 9. A great start there.
He deserves it. He sucks.
Hey, he's leaving the people because he found out that they suck.
Nope, he's tainted forever.
Really, a villain is tainted forever and can't ever be
I don't
redeemed.
believe in forgiveness. That's why I'm writing a webcomic about 5 villains who can't be redeemed. Yep.
That's a 12.
By the way, Beza is totally jealous. She's like, I want to be a Lich Queen.
Then we have a 10. That's a 17. That's good. 13. Okay. and a 16. All right. That's a pretty good spread. As a Gith Yankee, we get a +1 to intelligence and +2 to strength. We're going to be building an 8th level fighter, so that gives us 3 ability score increases, though honestly I think we're going to take 2 of those as feats, especially with how well we rolled.
I mean, that's the point of fighters, is to take like 50 million feats.
Yeah.
All the feats.
So with all of that, our final stats are going to be, we're going to have a strength of 20.
Oh, wow.
A dexterity of 10, a constitution of 13, an intelligence of 18,
Doubt. No, I'm kidding.
a wisdom of 12, and a charisma of 9. So let's go ahead and talk about what our feats are going to be.
2 feats, 1 on each foot.
Yep.
That joke always is old, but I'll tell it anyway.
So this silver greatsword that we have, because we were a Githyanki knight, it is a great sword, so it's a 2-handed sword.
Oh, good, I was drawing that right already.
So we're going to go ahead and take Great Weapon Master. This allows us an extra attack if we get a crit or reduce an enemy to 0 with a 2-handed weapon attack. It also allows us to take a -5 penalty to hit, for a +10 bonus to damage if we do hit. So that kind of risk and reward. The second feat we're going to take is Warcaster. This gives us a few things. It gives us advantage on concentration checks when we take damage. It allows us to perform the somatic components of spells with our weapon, which will be nice, especially since we have a 2-handed weapon. And most importantly here, it also allows us to cast a spell when a creature provokes an opportunity attack from us. So,
must be an Eldritch Knight then, huh?
Yes, Eldritch Knight.
I mean, just guessing here.
Yeah.
Since otherwise that would make no sense.
Yeah.
Fighters can't cast spells, Tyler.
Well, I said earlier that the Githyanki Knights were like masters of sword and spell, and
only if you take the right class for it. They're masters of sword and spell asterisk. If you build your character that way. Relevant NPC information.
So yes, we are going to be building an Eldritch Knight fighter. This is probably the best option for building a Gish, which is a character who would. So this is Gish, which is different from Gith, but like the original Gish were Gith. So I don't even know where the name Gish comes from. It's some AD&D thing.
All words are made up. It's okay.
Yeah, that's fair. But a Gish is a character who specializes in both weapon fighting and magic. And Eldritch Knight is one of the best options for that in 5th edition. Although if you ask an AD&D player, there is no such thing as a Gish in 5th edition. But anyway. As a first level fighter, we get proficiency with all weapons, armors, and shields. We get strength and constitution saving throws. We're going to take the soldier background, which gives us proficiency in athletics and intimidation.
Hey, Tyler.
Yes?
I just decided that your character doesn't have any legs.
Oh, okay.
No legs. He has to use his sword. His dragon. He has to use his dragon.
That's fine. He'll just ride around on his dragon all the time.
Okay, thanks. Legs are dumb and no one should have any.
Soldier also gives us proficiency with 1 gaming set. We're just going to do dice. And also gives us proficiency with land vehicles. So if we ever need to drive a buggy...
Riding on cars. He's two-dimensional. He could get a car.
Yeah, maybe. Let's see. As a Gith Yankee, we get 1 free proficiency choice. I'm going to take Arcana to reflect his magical training. Let's see. As a fighter, we get to choose from acrobatics, choose 2 skills from acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival. Now, I might be tempted to take animal handling, but I think his dragon would take offense at that. at that characterization of it.
I mean, yeah, if it's sapient, it would totally take offense to that.
Yeah.
Like, okay, do I need to have animal handling for you to be my rider? In order to interact with you, do I need animal handling? That's what the dragon's like, I can tell.
Yeah, so we're going to take survival and perception. Let's see. At first level, fighters get access to a fighting style. We'll take great weapon fighting, which allows us to re-roll 1s and 2s when we hit with a two-handed weapon. And then we have to take whatever it re-rolls. So, it's not always, it's like we still can get 1s and 2s in our final damage calculation, but it just, overall bumps up the minimum damage that we can do on average. We also get Second Wind, which allows us to regain 1d10 plus our fighter level HP once per rest as a bonus action. At second level, we get Action Surge, which lets us take a second action once per rest, which is really nice. Third and seventh levels, we get our Eldritch Knight abilities. We're going to go over those in just a bit. Fourth and eighth level are the fourth, sixth, and eighth levels. We get ability score increases, which we've already talked about. So looks like the last thing is fifth level. At fifth level, we get the extra attack feature. This allows us to attack twice whenever we take the attack action on our turn. Alright, so Eldritch Knights are fighters who are also wizards, except their spells work like sorcerers. What do I mean by that? Well, they're like wizards in that they use the wizard spell list, asterisk, and intelligence as their main casting stat. Which means we'll have a spell save DC of 15 and a spell attack bonus of +7. They're like sorcerers in that they just know spells and they don't have to prepare them. So they don't have a spell book, they don't need to spend time preparing spells each day, they just know their spells and can use them. As an 8th level Eldritch Knight, we know 6 spells and 2 cantrips. We have 4 first-level spell slots and 2 second-level spell slots. Much like Arcane Tricksters for rogues, Eldritch Knights do not gain magic very fast. That's just kind of the trade-off of being able to be good at both combat and magic. So the reason that I said they have the wizard spell list asterisk is that the other restriction here is that with the exception of 2 of the spells for us, one which we learn at level 3 and one which we learn at level 8, the spells must be of either the evocation or abjuration schools of magic. It's combat magic, basically. You can shoot fireballs at people, and you can make magical shields, and that's your kind of magic. Your Eldritch Knights are not going to be sitting here making illusions or like creating water or
what? I just don't understand why they wouldn't value that.
I mean, like I said, they're allowed 2 spells that are outside of. I mean, at higher levels you get more of them, but at our level 8, there's 2 spells that we can choose from the entire wizard spell list. We'll see if we actually take them outside of evocation and abjuration, though. Yeah, and we'll get back to spells. Which spells we pick.
Wait a minute. He doesn't have any nipples. He's Aladdin. Okay, let me see.
Well, I mean, they're born from eggs, so they're not mammals, so they don't really need nipples.
That doesn't stop lamias.
Okay, but that has a very specific purpose.
Being sexy. Honestly, I sound like I'm complaining, but I'm kind of happy about this.
Let's see. At third level, we get the ability to magically bond with our weapon. When we forge a bond with a weapon, we cannot be disarmed of that weapon as long as we are not incapacitated. And as long as it is on the same plane of existence, we can call it to our hand with a bonus action. So that's pretty cool. I once played an Eldritch Knight. We did a Shadowrun campaign, And then we decided that the rules for Shadowrun were too complicated.
Mostly for a few specific members of our party or playing group.
Yeah. So we decided to just keep our same campaign going, but we ported everything to D&D 5th edition because the 5th edition is a lot easier to play. And so in the Shadowrun campaign, I had a character who was basically a Jedi.
Yeah,
So when we got to 5th edition, I chose the Eldritch Knight, and basically I would do my lightsaber throw by just like throwing my lightsaber at people, and then using this ability that I was bonded with the weapon, and I could call it back to my hand with a bonus action, so that, that was my lightsaber throw.
You also had magic space lightning.
Yes, I did also have magic space lightning. Okay, at 7th level, we get the hands down best Eldritch Knight ability, War Magic. War Magic allows us to make one weapon attack as a bonus action when we use our action to cast a cantrip. This is going to be super useful to us once we talk about what cantrips we have. We'll come back to why War Magic is just so great.
Is it so great?
It is so great. Honestly, like, I don't know if I've mentioned this on the show before or not, but like, in 4th edition, Blade Singers were my favorite class to play. And the Blade Singer in 5th edition is much less cool, specifically because Eldritch Knights stole War Magic from Blade Singers. War Magic was the best part of Blade Singers in 4th edition. It's the best part of Eldritch Knights in 5th edition. I just wish I could take War Magic and make it a feat, and then just have all of my casters have it.
Homebrew?
Maybe. We'll see.
I'll just wait for 6th edition or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, something. So before we pick our spells proper, as a Githyanki, we get a few spells which we can cast with our innate psionics. So at 1st level, we know the Mage Hand cantrip, and much like Arcane Tricksters, when we cast Mage Hand with this feature, the hand is invisible. We can also, at 3rd level, we can cast Jump once per long rest with this feature. And at 5th level, we can cast Misty Step once per long rest with this feature. And with those out of the way, let's pick our actual spells. For our cantrips, the main one that we're going to be taking is Booming Blade. I love Booming Blade for Gish characters.
I kind of like that spell in general.
Sure, but it's like...
Look, all I'm saying is you picked it a lot lately.
Yeah, it's fair. It's a really great spell.
Base is a really great base.
So what Booming Blade does is, refresher, when you cast it, you make a weapon attack. And if that weapon attack hits, starting at 5th level, it deals extra thunder damage. And then at all levels, it deals additional thunder damage if the target moves before the end of our next turn. Moves willingly. So War Magic lets us make an attack when we cast a cantrip. Booming Blade has as part of it an attack. So if we are using Booming Blade with our War Magic feature, we still get to have 2 weapon attacks on our turn, just like any other fighter would, with the added benefit of the additional thunder damage. Now, when we get to further levels, at 11th level, fighters get a third attack per turn. So at that point, it doesn't equalize out as well, although also your cantrips get more powerful at that level, so sometimes it's a bit of a toss-up, but whether you want the third attack or whether you have the cantrip plus a second attack, but it's just really good. War Magic is really good.
Base is really good.
For our second cantrip, we're going to take Lightning Lure. What Lightning Lure allows us to do, it's a 15-foot range, and it allows us to, to make a creature make a strength saving throw. And if they fail the strength saving throw, then they're pulled 10 feet towards us. Then, if they end that 10 feet of movement within 5 feet of us, they take lightning damage.
So, zapped if you do, zapped if you don't?
Yeah, pretty much. And so, again, if we pull them all the way to within 5 feet of us, then they'll get the lightning damage, and then with War Magic, we get to make a weapon attack. So cantrips out of the way, let's go ahead and pick our spells. For first level spells, we're going to take Absorb Elements from Xanathar's Guide to Everything. What that does is when you are hit with an elemental damage attack, you can use your reaction to cast this spell to reduce the damage that you take from that attack by giving you resistance to that damage type. And then the next time you hit someone with a weapon attack, that weapon attack deals extra damage based on whatever kind of element you absorbed. So basically, if somebody hits you with a fire attack, and you can use this to gain resistance to fire, and then your next weapon attack will deal extra fire damage. We'll take Shield, which we can use to make it so things don't hit us in the first place. Now let's go with Magic Missile. Magic Missile is great because it doesn't miss; it just hits.
Plus, you can always make that old joke.
Yep.
If you don't, someone else will.
So true. Let's see. For second level, this is going to be the first of our two spells that are not either Abjuration or Evocation. We're going to take the transmutation spell, Dragon's Breath, because Dragon's Breath is freaking awesome.
You're freaking awesome.
Then our second non-evocation and abjuration spell we're going to take is Enlarge/Reduce. So we can make ourselves bigger, so we hit stronger.
Cue teenage style giggling.
You're a dork.
I'm not mature, okay?
And for our last spell, let's go ahead and take Scorching Ray. Mostly, honestly, because I recently had I'm running an epic level campaign, and we had a cleric who cast Scorching Ray, and it was 15 rays, and it's not going to be 15 rays for us because we're only casting it at second level. But
still, man.
Still, it's just 15 attack rolls for one spell. It's ridiculous. All right. Let's see. What do we still have left? So for our health, we'll just
forget.
Yeah, I didn't forget. Yay. For our health, we're just gonna take the average this time.
Because you're not a fool.
As a fighter, this is going to be 6 plus our Constitution modifier per level. In addition to the 11 we get from first level, adding in the 7 for the subsequent 7 levels, that gives us an even 60 hit points at level 8. And with that, we are done with Zamadas. Thanks to Leigh for drawing for us. You can check out her work on Instagram at @ReadTheWordsmith, or you can read her wonderful webcomic at monochromecomic.com.
It's about villains getting redeemed.
Thank you for watching. Let us know what you liked or didn't like about the episode in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe so you can join us next week when we make some sweet music and an old video game reference. Until then, keep those forges lit.